Hello everyone, welcome back for another book review. I actually do not have the physical copy of the book, so I'm just gonna insert a picture here of it. So today we are talking about Silver Spells. If you couldn't guess, it's by Silver Ravenwolf. Now originally this was 3 separate books, and I think it was published in 2018. They combined the 3 into the 1. So the 3 books that is now the 1 covered prosperity, love, and protection. Pretty standard topics. I'm doing the same topic books with Penzac. So yeah, it was right along my alley of like what I'm reading right now. So one of the major complaints that a lot of people have about this book is the size. Now, I don't mind it because I do have a lot of other witchy books that are the same size. It's this weird, short book. It is really thick for that size of a book. It would have been better, I think, to have it the standard book size, which I think is usually like 7 by 9 or something like that. But like, yeah, it's like the short little books like the Sabbath Essentials that we've been going through. It's similar to that size, but a lot of people have complained. Even my fiance, I handed him the book and he's like, this is just like a weirdly shaped book. I don't like it. So a lot of people have complained about it. I didn't mind, but other people, they didn't love it. The thing I didn't like was kind of a formatting thing, but kind of a writing thing. And the first point is that it wasn't consistent, and it was in the middle that was inconsistent, which just felt super weird. So the first section of the book is prosperity work, and then you have love, and then you have protection. The 2 end ones had kind of like a complicated, make it a little bit more advanced topic thing of like perform it under these astrology things, or this moon, or change it up with this, or whatever, as just kind of to advance it just a little bit of a spell. But the middle section didn't have that, and I thought it was super weird. Like, why do we have it at the beginning and the end, but not in the middle? Like, you could still include what is astrological, what moon sign, whatever. Like, it just felt so weird that it was included at the beginning and the end, but not in the middle. I'm sure that's how it was originally published as well. I don't think they changed anything from the old publications to this. I think they just took the information, moved it over into the new thing. The other thing that I really didn't like, my fiance didn't hate this as much. He was more still hung up on the size of the book. I can't handle this. I don't like how it's formatted. Now, he didn't love the formatting either, but for slightly different reasons. So the reason my fiance didn't like it is that the spells just kind of continuously bleed into each other's pages. So instead of like you turn a page, here's the new spell, if the spell only goes like this far down the page, you'd have a little blob and then the start of the next spell, instead of just end that page, turn the page to the new one, and have some blank space. They didn't want to have that, and personally that wasn't like a huge deal to me. It's a little inconvenience, but like whatever. My fiance did not love that. The part I didn't like is how the pages were set up. So the supplies was just supplies, and I think it was bold, and then just list with a comma between every single item. And then it would say instructions, and then it would just be paragraphs of stuff. And I know that it's a me problem. I don't know if other people have this, but that just got very overwhelming and not user-friendly. Like, it's not friendly to look at when you're looking at the ingredients of what you need and you just have this block of text that you have to really focus to read. And again, it's not a huge deal, but I don't like it. Other spell books, they just bullet point the ingredients. I like that better. And they don't necessarily even have a bullet point, but each one is its own separate line. It's so much easier to look at, because then you can just like, your brain can skim read it fast and be like, oh cool, done. Instead of this block of text that you're like, you have to it's so dumb, I know, but I hated it. Same with the instructions. There was like the words in the middle of a paragraph of what you're gonna say, and it really wasn't like italicized or bolded or anything to make it stand out. I personally like in the spells where it has a set of like, you're gonna do these things, enter, then here's what you're gonna say, then you do this, enter, say this, instead of just a block of text of what you're doing and saying. Again, it's a me thing, but it really did bother me, and I won't likely want to do these, and when I do transfer just a handful of them over to my book of shadows, which is what I keep everything in, I'm gonna have to change the formatting quite a bit because I absolutely hate that. And I do think she's done that in other books as well, so I think it is just like a Silver Ravenwolf thing, but other authors do it differently, and I do prefer the other method. As per usual, Silver Ravenwolf has a very gray area on casting spells on others, and this was definitely no exception. In one sentence, she'll be telling you don't cast spells on others. You know, that's kind of a moral thing, like don't do that. And then gives you spells to do the exact thing she just said not to do. Specifically, like, I remember this when I had read through Solitary Witch from her, where she had said that it's fine if it's for healing work, but, you know, love spells people tend to not have that viewpoint. I don't love it regardless. And so in this book, she says, don't do spells on others, and then gives you a bunch of love spells to do on others. Sometimes she says don't pick a specific person if you're trying to like bring in a person, but then also has spells for like when your partner's cheating on you or they're acting like they want to leave or like the spark isn't there anymore, and it's a lot of like putting magic onto others. For example, you have the Stray Lover spell, or these enchanted boots are made for walking. And that's not to say all of her spells are like that. There's a handful that I think I will include. And the information, for the most part, there's a lot of good ideas and stuff. And the spells were definitely varied, which is nice. I mentioned this before. Some spell books get into this routine of like, it's almost the exact same stuff and the exact same steps. You just change it just a smidge between. These were definitely pretty varied. On a whole, they're not ones that I would probably ever do. On those topics, I'm definitely going to be referring to Penzak's books over these ones. But again, it's just personal preference. Everyone ends up liking some authors more than others and different magic styles more than others. Personally, I'm really liking Penzak's style a lot more. Silver Ravenwolf does kind of focus in on like a specific audience, and I feel like it's more of like the younger witches. And maybe now it's getting a little bit dated because I don't know that Gen Z is going to super love Silver Ravenwolf, or even Gen Alpha at this point. I think they're getting close to teenage years. I've tried a handful of her spells before and they do work when I've done them. And again, there's a handful of ones that I'll probably be including into my Book of Shadows, but on a whole, if I was going to pick this over the books from Penzak that are on the exact same topic, I'm picking those hands down. I haven't finished his book on love magic, but I did have reviews for Prosperity, which was the Witch's Coin, and Protection, which was the Witch's Shield. And the third one is going to be the Witch's Heart. That'll be coming, I think, this weekend, actually. But yeah, I prefer those more. I like his take on it a lot better. I feel like he tells you a lot more of a grounded approach to it, that it's not just do a spell and get it done. And I don't feel like Silver really pushed that a lot. She kind of mentions it a teensy bit at the beginning and then just jumps into the spells. But even with Penzak doing the spells, he's still telling you like the mundane and like the work you need to do before you do these things. And so, I don't know. It's a me thing, and I don't love all the time when people like pit authors against each other. But Silver has had a lot of criticism over the years. And some of it's warranted, some of it's not. She does have a lot of knowledge, and some of her stuff is really fun to learn about and to see. Just, her spells are just kind of hit or miss. Sometimes you'll like them, sometimes you won't. Again, there's a handful that I will enjoy doing, I'm sure, but on a whole there's a lot that I was kind of like, not totally for me. Overall, if you tend to enjoy Silver Ravenwolf's writing, you will enjoy this book. I wouldn't say it's the most advanced book. It is definitely more in her beginner intermediate range. She only has a handful that are more for the advanced witches. But if you're wanting a book just of her spells and on these 3 topics, you have so many options. You'll love it. If you don't love Silver Ravenwolf but you want books on those topics, again, I'd probably lean more towards Penzak over this one. And plus, he has the normal sized book, and I love the way that he lays his stuff out in those books. The formatting, I love it so much more. It's the little things in life, honestly. So that is going to be it for this video. I would love to hear your thoughts on this book in the comments down below. I've really only seen one other person make a review on this, and then there's just a handful of reviews on like Goodreads and Amazon. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one in the comments down below. Do make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I post every single day. And I do have a Patreon if you want to support the channel, patreon.com/nightwillowcrafts.